What's going on, guys? The SSM back again with another video. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to episode 3 of our Miami Dolphins late round draft targets mini series. That was a lot to get out of my mouth. I could not say that, but thank you for stopping by. And if you're new to the channel, if you could do me a massive favor, subscribe and also like this video, because those two things help grow the channel a ton and mean a lot to me also. So I appreciate the support in advance. Let's go ahead and get talking about my third prospect that I would like the Dolphins to at least look at, and that's running back Trey Sermon. So Trey Sermon is a really good running back. I like him a lot. Played in Oklahoma for his first 3 years of college and then transferred to the bigger program at Ohio State and played really well, in my opinion. I think he was a very, very good running back in college. Did split some snaps with a handful of other guys, not just in Ohio State, but also in Oklahoma. Now, this last year, he did have a lot more opportunity to be the single back on the team, and that's where he performed really well, in my opinion. Now, why would Trey Sermon slide? Why would he be a later draft target for Miami? There are a handful of reasons. These running backs that are coming out in this draft, I think, are really good. There's a lot of big names coming out of the draft. You've got your Najee Harrises, you have Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, you've got Michael Carter. A lot of people are starting to talk about Chuba Hubbard as well. So there's a lot of names and a lot of productive running backs coming out of this class. So it pushes guys like Sermon, who haven't had that superstar collegiate career, off to the side a little bit. And so looking at Miami and where we stand in the draft, we have the 81st overall pick. I think that would be a decent spot to take a look at Trey Sermon if we weren't able to get a running back earlier. Now, ideal for me, the ideal situation is if at some point in the draft we traded down and picked up a 4th round pick, which we don't have at this point. So if we could pick up a 4th round pick and also acquire Trey Sermon in the 4th round somewhere, that's a really good move for Miami, in my opinion. And I want to tell you why. I want to tell you why I like Trey Sermon so much and why you should as well. So let's take a look at Trey Sermon's body. Let's take a look at also his body of work. So Trey Sermon is 6 foot tall, 220 pounds. I like that right out of the gate. We have a lot of small backs on the team. I think having a bigger bodied, more prototypical NFL running back size guy, I think that would benefit the team a lot. And in 2020, he played in 8 games, 116 carries for 870 yards, 7.5 yards per carry. It's a big number. It's a really solid number. I like that a lot. He rushed for 4 touchdowns, which is a little bit lower, something that obviously we would want to see more production in terms of getting into the end zone, but he is still a good running back. He still does a lot of things that I think would, benefit the Miami Dolphins in the long run. So let's talk about where his fit would be in Miami. What is his play style going to translate like in the NFL? What type of back is he going to be? So if you're looking for a running back coming out of this class to be fast, to be shifty, to be really good in the receiving game, you're probably not going to like Trey Sermon, because he is really none of those things. He is not very fast. He is not super shifty, although he does have a little bit of agility. He is not the shiftiest back in this class, and he's not productive in the passing game. So why would anybody like him? He doesn't do 3 pretty big things that you would want a running back to do. The reason why I would like Trey Sermon if I were you later in the draft is because of a handful of things. Number one, he is going to be there later in the draft. You're not going to have to spend the 18th overall pick or the 36th overall pick on Trey Sermon. He'll be there later, which benefits your team, because at 18 and at 36 and potentially at 50, you could focus on different positions of need, maybe more premier positions, or just kind of select best player available, which definitely benefits your team. And then attached to that is a lower salary cap, or a lower cap hit, for Trey Sermon. Taking a running back, taking anybody at 18 or at 36 is going to be much more expensive than taking someone at 81 or even later. So that benefits Miami in terms of the money. And then the third thing that comes to mind when I watch Trey Sermon play, a couple of things actually. When I watch Trey Sermon play, in my personal opinion, I think that his game is really tailored towards the style of running that the NFL has kind of adapted into with this, running backs by committee style. You look at a lot of teams that are winning right now, not very many of them have a bell cow back who's going to take 30 carries a game, who's going to have a ton of carries through the season and produces. You've got your rare teams like the Tennessee Titans, who obviously succeed with Derrick Henry. You could look at the Carolina Panthers, but there are not a lot of teams in the NFL who are really up at that upper echelon of teams with that style of running back anymore. You look at the Chiefs, you look at the Bucks, you look at a handful of other really solid teams in the NFL now, and a lot of them are running back by committee. They'll utilize 2 to 3 guys, if not even more, per game to take carries out of the backfield. And I think Trey Sermon's game really fits that well because he is limited in parts, but he also does fill in, at least for the Dolphins, where we lack. So Trey Sermon is big. Trey Sermon runs right up the middle. You're going to get 4 to 5 yards a carry out of him in the NFL. He's just that style of player. And where he lacks, you could also, kind of make up for that with our Myles Gaskin, with our Salvon Ahmed, guys who are faster, who are shiftier, maybe better third down backs, guys who can produce in the passing game as well. I think that drafting someone like Trey Sermon kind of fits the bill for what the rest of the NFL is doing right now, and he would fit in with that. I think that's really, really kind of a benefit to him that this is his style of play now, because the NFL is moving away from, like I said, that every down back that you had, you used to see in the past. So that's thing one. And the last thing that I do want to talk about with Trey Sermon is go back and look at his games that he has played in, and look at the fact that when the lights were the brightest, when it was the biggest stage, when he was playing in the biggest games, that's when Trey Sermon showed up the most at a lot of times for Ohio State, for Oklahoma. He plays really well in high pressure situations, whether it's big games, he needs the yardage, they need a touchdown. He seems to always step up when he needs to, and I think that's extremely valuable. You always look for players who are going to put you in the best position, and Trey Sermon always steps up when it's really needed. So I love Trey Sermon, especially as a later round draft pick. Now, if we were talking about drafting Sermon at 36 or at 50, I would say no, I would pass on that. I would look at other positions and address, something else later down the road. But if Sermon's there at 81, or even later if we trade into the 4th round, I think that's really good value at that style of pick, around that time in the draft. I think that's really valuable and brings a lot of benefit to the Dolphins. So I want to know what you guys think down below. Let me know how you feel about Trey Sermon. Would you draft him if you were there at 81? Would you not? And I know a lot of that depends on the draft board and if we take a running back earlier in the draft. But say that we haven't taken a running back and Trey Sermon is there at 81 or later. Would you take him? Would you trade into the 4th round to take him? Let me know all those things down below and we will talk about it. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you so much for all the support. We are almost to 1,000 subs and I'm super, super pumped about it. Now, before I end the video, I have a couple of really quick updates. So number one, I am going to be regrading the Miami Dolphins 2019 and or 2020 draft just based on my personal opinion on stats, on what I saw on the field watching every game. So keep your eyes out for that video because I'm super pumped about it. And then also number two, this is one that I've put off just a little bit and it'll be releasing this weekend. I've got a full 32 team mock draft coming out very, very soon. It's something that I'm very excited about. And I wanted to take my time to do all the research and make sure that I'm not just an idiot in front of a camera who doesn't know what he's talking about. So I appreciate the patience on that. For those of you who are looking out for that mock draft, it's coming very, very soon. And that's all I got for you guys. Keep up the support. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, subscribe and like this video to help my channel grow a ton. Means a lot, guys. Have an awesome day. I'll see you very soon with some more content. Have a great night. And as always, fins up.